this is that if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to hang tough despite the challenges, and then you're gonna see success along the way.
You know, my sixth book was called "Decide: The Ultimate Success Trigger," and I talked a lot about the mindset traps and the crap that goes on up here that holds us back. The little voices that say, "No, you shouldn't do that. This is going to be too hard, way too risky. Don't do that." So I address a lot of that. But you're right. A lot of people aren't willing to make the investment necessary to get their business off the ground. They'll get business cards for free from Vistaprint. They'll build a website themselves, but then they're not really willing to put the money out to grow the business. And I can't tell you how many people have said, "Jim, what's a good way to get some free publicity?" And I could tell you, I mean, social media is basically free. It can be a time suck, but it's free. But if all you're looking for is the shortcut, the free cut, that's not going to put you in front of the right number of people. I mean, I
Hmm.
believe it, whether it's a product or service, if you truly believe, I mean, in your heart, mind, soul, and every fiber of your being, that what you're doing is valuable and you can change people's lives, help improve their lives, help their business, whatever it looks like, man, you've got to find the right audience. And if you do that, you'll have a successful business. Most people don't have the stomach to do that. There's another piece of it that's sometimes you'll hear work-life balance. And I've actually counseled some fairly young entrepreneurs about starting a business. And I'll say, listen, some young kids at home, I'm sure you're concerned with work-life balance. Well, of course we are. I said, well, I wouldn't start your business now. Well, I didn't think you'd say that. Well, I said, listen, if you think there's going to be balance when you're an entrepreneur, whether it's the first year, the first 5 years, or 10 years, whatever, you can forget about it. And he said, no, I think we can find it. I said, I'll test you. Suppose you said you've been working really hard, but this Thursday, right now at 5 o'clock, I'm quitting. I'm going to go to see my daughter's ballet practice, and I'm going to make Little League at 7 o'clock. And then we're all going to have dinner together. And just as you're getting ready to pack up and leave your office or do whatever you're going to do, a prospect that you have been nurturing for 6 months calls and says, "Hey, Jim, I'm in town. I was getting ready to fly out, which is why I didn't call you, but my flight's delayed. I got to stay here till morning. Let's grab dinner and let's talk about how we can work together." What are you going to
Mm.
do? Now, I would say, and I'm sure I'll catch heck from some relationship and family therapists, but if you don't take that meeting and grow your business, I mean, the very reason you grow your business in the first place was to probably find financial security for your family. You better take that meeting. And that's what I mean. Work-life balance is a little bit of a, I don't want to say it's a myth, but it's very, very hard to attain when you are a small business owner.
Wow. Oh, that's really
Man,
wow.
am
Okay.
I hitting on all cylinders or what? Is this too
Yeah.
much for 5 o'clock?
Nah, this is good. This is really great. This is great words of wisdom here for us to think
Thank you.
about big time. Because I agree with you. The fact that there's no such thing as work-life balance. I thought there was, but in reality, it's not. I mean, if you love the work that you do, then in reality, it's part. There's no such thing as work-life balance. You just found the work that you like, and you're working no matter what. So I think that work-life balance is like a huge myth to everyone in some ways.
For most entrepreneurs, I'll speak for myself. I love what I'm doing. I mean, I've structured my business in a way that so I can do it 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then you're actually going to be my last call today. And when I'm done with this interview, I'm done for 4 days. Now, I'll wait. I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up thinking business, right? I could be out in the water. We're going to take the boat out with some family and friends on Saturday. I'll probably be thinking about work. If I'm going to be reading a book, I'm probably going to be reading a business book. So you never really turn it off. But to me, that's man, that is like rocket fuel. I love that stuff. So I love what I do. And if you grow what I call a dream business, you're never going to be always looking for the weekends. To me, the days are just the days. Do I have calls these days or do I not? Because it's no longer you work for the weekends. You just work because that's what you got on your schedule. Um, it takes work to do that. I mean, I started this plan that I'm able to do right now. I started it 5 years ago, working toward this point, and it's I would dare say the first 10 years of my business, Cheval, I probably worked more hours than I did the previous 25 years of my career. So it the people who achieve certain amount of success, those are the people that are willing to do things and put in the effort and time and investment that most people are not willing to do.
Definitely. All right. So now I gotta ask about your recent book that you just came out with. Can you share with us about what led you
I
to write that
can.
book?
And if I'm just going to reach out a camera here real quick. I should have had this prepared, but this is the book, Just Say Yes. The picture of my lovely boat right there. And so in January when I wrote 6 books in like 7 years, and when I wrote Decide, I said that's it, I'm done. I got in my home office. I had my books behind me in like custom frames, so 3 and 3, everything fit. I can't write a seventh book because it won't fit. And then in January, I was out walking my dog Blue. It was really early in the morning. The sun was coming up. We lived on this farm. There were horses. I mean, it was beautiful, beautiful, but very cold. But I just got inspired. I think the spirit inspired me and said, bigger, bolder, faster. And I said, oh, I like that. I can do that. I can even teach that, bigger, bolder, faster. No, you too, Jim. I want you to live a bigger, bolder, faster life. And I want you to write about this. And so that was really the genesis of my book. And as I started writing this book, I wrote it in about 5 weeks. Um, and the big, one of the big lessons is right there in the title. People, entrepreneurs, and in your private life, when you make big decisions like this, most people wait for everything to be perfect, for the stars to line up, for everything just to happen naturally, and just like almost no risk. But you know what the reality is, Cheval? That never happens. When Steph and I found this boat, I had never driven a 50-foot boat with 960 horsepower twin diesels before. I've never docked a boat this big. And when we took off from Maryland, I'd only driven it around the river, the local river, and we're in the Atlantic Ocean for the first time. I don't mind saying I was scared. There was a point where we were going into New York Harbor. I felt like a cork in a washing machine, and the inside of the boat, I mean, man, stuff was everywhere. And but you know what? Steph and I did it. And one of the things that I think we reflected on was that we've just been very, very blessed in our life, and with our family, we're all healthy. We both have our parents still alive on both sides, and I've been cancer free for about 6 years. I did have two more recurrences, but I'm very
Congratulations.
healthy right now. Thank you. And I'm
Welcome.
healthy right now, and I think for the last, say, 3 to 4 years, when my business is really blossoming and doing well, I think we've been very comfortable. And I think you get in a situation where it's very easy to sit in your comfort zone. And we did so many things just on this trip, and buying the boat and selling the house and doing everything, that we have been like outside our comfort zone. And I have to be honest with you, we feel more alive than we have in a long time. And so the point about just saying yes, I think this is a really cool video. I think I forget exactly what it's. Prince EA did a video. Everybody dies. Everybody should Google it. It's an amazing video.
Hmm.
And the upshot is, at the end of it, he says, look, at a lot of people at the end of their life, when they knew they were dying, they were asked a question: what did you regret? And most people, almost all the people, didn't regret anything they did. They regretted things that they didn't do.
Hmm.
And he had a really cool way of wrapping it up. He said, listen, you can't change anything you've done to this point, but starting today, you can create a new ending. And so I'm going to be 59 years old next week. And I'll tell you what, I couldn't find one financial planner who said, yeah, at 59, it really makes sense to buy a boat this big. Great investment, Jim, right? That's not, I mean, a boat is probably the worst investment you can make. But you know what? Stephanie and I said yes because we wanted to go on a big adventure. When we're done in Rhode Island at the end of at Labor Day, we're going to take the boat. We're going to travel down the intercoastal waterway to Florida. We're going to spend the winter in Florida. My parents live in Orlando. Then we're going to come back up. We are going to see parts of this country that we have never seen. And someday, God willing, when we're both old and rocking in our chairs, we're going to say, remember when we lived on that boat, and remember all the things we saw. And most people just were, in general, or entrepreneurs especially, they end up playing the what if game, Cheval. And that's like when you
Hmm.
get to make a decision, all of a sudden your brain, whatever the cognitive part of your brain kicks in and goes, yeah, but what if? And to me, when we decided to do this, all of a sudden I started getting a little, what if I don't know how to drive it? What if we run out of gas? What if what if I hit somebody's boat trying to put this thing in the slip? And what if this, what if that? What if I don't have Wi-Fi and I can't work with my clients? All these what ifs. And then, here's what really happens. You turn it around and you go, yeah, but what if every day I wake up and I solve that problem, I fix that challenge, I overcome that hurdle? What if I find out I'm really a pretty good boat driver? And what if we just have the adventure of a lifetime? What if by saying yes, this thing works out really, really well? And that's what entrepreneurs have to do at the very beginning of their business, when they got the dream, the fire right in their heart or in their mind or belly. When they got that fire to start a business, there's so many reasons not to do it. One of them I already mentioned, 80% of you will fail. But what if you're one of the 20% that does it and you hang in there and you grow that business? Anyway, that's my book, Just Say Yes.
Definitely. That's real great words of wisdom there. So now I'm going to ask about social media. How important is social media? And the second part to this is, why do you think business owners or anyone should live stream or make an appearance on a podcast?
I do approximately 140 to 150 interviews every year, so I can speak to how important it is to appear on podcasts. At my live event that I do called Dream Business Academy, I teach something called my $1 Million Platform, and that is all the different ways that I have used to market and brand myself and grow my business, the things I still do today. And so, whether you're recorded video or whether you're live streaming video, whether you're doing social media or blogging or writing a book or being a speaker, all these different things are an effective part. And some of them have more importance than others. It's kind of like a cake. You don't have the same amount of eggs and flour and sugar and yeast or whatever else put in there. Everything's got a certain and that's what how you make a great cake or great cookies or whatever. Oh, cookies. But the thing is, it's a recipe for a business is exactly the same. Here's the important thing for people to remember. There's an expression that I've heard a lot lately, and I'm probably going to make some kind of a meme out of it, but I would tell people you should be doing this, that, and the other thing, or I'd say you're not doing this enough, and they go, yeah, but it's better than nothing. And I would start getting like inside. I'm like, man, stop saying that. Better than nothing is like, I mean, is that how you grow a stellar business? Is that how you're going to earn a very nice income and create not only financial stability, but financial freedom and time freedom? I guarantee you an attitude of better than nothing will not get you there. So people say, well, Jim, how in the world do you find time to blog and to write, 7 books and to do, I've been doing weekly videos for 6 years. I've been doing my podcast for 5 years. I appear in
Oh, wow.
150. I do 150 interviews every year. How do you find time to do that? Because it works. It all works. And so here's the thing. People know when you're growing a business, you need to be in touch and reach out and connect with your perfect target customer. That's called an avatar. So if you know, for example, your best customer is 35 to 45, 60% male, 40% female. I mean the mix, not the person, right? And then they're married or they're not married or they own a home or they have kids, whatever it is, you figure out your perfect avatar. And if you go and let's say you buy a list, you're going to do some direct mail or anything like that. The more you know about your avatar, the better. But I guarantee this, even if you find 1,000 people that all fit that perfect avatar, they all consume information differently. This is a
Mm.
paperback book. Some people, if they say I like to read books or I like books, some people it's very shrinking. I'll give you that. Some people like paperback books. Some people like to read books on Kindle, right? Some people like to listen to audiobooks. So I've done my last 2 books. I've created audio versions. So that's just book. So yeah, you could write a book, but then you have to create all the different ways. And so it's you know what, Cheval, it's all important. And to the degree that you're able to do as much of all of that as possible, that's the way you will stand out above the noise and all the other marketers who are just have the attitude of, well, what I'm doing is better than nothing.
Wow.